Welcome, everybody. Dustin Harris hanging out in the podcast chair. Folks, we're nearing the end of the year and felt like I needed to get this episode out today. I've been putting it off, I'll be honest with you. It's been one that's been on my mind for a while. It keeps recurring in my mind. It comes up over and over again. I keep telling myself, damn it, Dustin, you need to do that episode. Why do I keep putting it off? Honestly, I really wanted to cross my T's and dot my I's on this. I really wanted to map this out, to kind of script it, if you will. And then I thought to myself this morning, you know what? Screw it. You already know what you want to say. If you get eaten alive for it, you get eaten alive for it. Who cares? You know, one of the great things about this podcast is I hardly ever, I don't know if you knew this, I'll give you a little inside baseball. When I first started podcasting, I would script out everything, not word for word, of course. I wasn't reading anything, but I would definitely put my outline in front of me. About 3 or 4 weeks into it, I mean, it really did not take long. I realized that podcasting is all about authenticity. It's all about just being who you are. And you know, I'll be honest with you, if you go back and listen to those original podcasts, you'll notice that I say very little. There's one right there. I used to edit all that out, or used to, not me personally, but I had my editor take all of that out. Screw it. You know what? You want realism. You want who I am. You want a person behind the microphone, not a script, and certainly not a polished professional. And I think the reason people come to this podcast is because I speak my mind. I just tell you what I think, and that's what it's going to be today. I have no idea if I'm going to hit all of the things that I wanted to hit in this episode. Have no idea where it's actually going to go. I honestly don't know. I just have an idea in my head as to what I want to say, and not even more than just from a very 30,000 foot level. Nothing detailed at all. Haven't even 5 minutes prior to this podcast, did not even sit down and write out a few things that I want to make sure that I definitely hit. There's some things that I think are important to hit by the end of the year, and that's why I'm doing this today. So here it is in all its glory. I want to remind you, of course, we are sponsored by 3 great companies, A La Mode being one of them. A La Mode is the company that I've been using for over 20 years, and I can't wait to tell you about a special offer that A La Mode is putting out there just for a couple of days, folks. So stay tuned for that. Midway through this podcast, I want to share with you how you can save $500 if you want to make the switch. Right now, you can go to alamode.com. or you can call them at 800-ALA-MODE. We are sponsored by DataMaster. DataMaster is the company that I use to import data into my report. It saves me 30 to 60 minutes per report. I love it. You will too. Check them out. Go to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Again, datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And finally, we are sponsored by OREP Insurance. OREP, of course, is the E&O insurance that I carry because they're real people who really care about me and my business. I know that firsthand because I just had an experience with them recently that reminded me what great people these are to work with. OREP is found at orep.org. That's OREP.org. Okay. Folks, I have no idea what I'm going to call this show. I have no idea where I'm going to wander, but I think it's an important show to have. Now, let's just start by stating this. This topic has come up before. I think I had an episode way back when. Again, I did not do any prep work for this particular episode, so I'm just going off the top of my head, but I think if you go back into the archives and type in the word eating, I think it'll pop up. I think I did a podcast called something like Appraisers Eating Their Own. And basically the gist of today's topic is kind of twofold. It talks a little about, I want to talk a little bit about how we as appraisers treat each other. And I want to talk a little bit about how we treat our clients, AMCs. Okay. Put it out there. That's it. That's what I want to talk about today. And so let's go. Let's talk a little bit about it. Let me tell you first where this comes from. I spend, as I've mentioned here before, I spend a lot of time on the appraiser boards. And by boards, I mean Facebook groups, for example, forums, online forums. These are places where appraisers congregate. These are places online, social media, where appraisers go to ask questions, to vent, to talk about their industry, There's several groups out there. I've mentioned their names here before. One of my favorite is Mark Scapinet's page. It's 100% Real Estate Appraisers. One of the reasons I really like Mark's page is because it is what it says it is. It's 100% Real Estate Appraisers, right? He's very careful not to put AMCs in there. He's very careful. I'm sure, some slip through, but I think he's pretty good at his vetting process. Make sure that you have a license. I think he goes on the ASB website and checks for licenses and names and make sure that it matches up, that you are who you say you are. It's the internet, folks. I'm sure it would not be that difficult to get in if they really wanted to, but he tries to keep it clean. I like that because as an appraiser, I want to be able to speak to appraisers, right? Sometimes. Now, there's other groups out there that are very wide, have more people in their group, but they're also not real picky about who they put in. Anybody that wants to talk about appraisal, whether you be a lender, a realtor, or an appraiser, usually can get into those groups. Now, there's other groups out there as well. There's one on mobile appraising. There's one on alternative valuations. There's ones that are specific to companies, AMCs and others. I'm a member of a lot of different groups. I don't do a lot outside Facebook. I was a member, and probably still am, a member of Appraisers Forum online. I find that to be so incredibly negative that I just can't stand being there for very long. And by the way, I have nothing against the founders or whoever runs that site. It's just not for me, right? And it's, I have nothing against anybody that's on there. If that's the place that you go, you don't want to be on the Facebook side, hey, more power to you. Not a problem, right? Have no issue with that. It just wasn't for me. But I do pay attention to what's going on in the social media. And that's really the catalyst of today's discussion. And again, it's twofold. It's AMCs, it's clients, and it's other appraisers. Now, I'm very aware of the risk that I run doing this type of episode. I'm self-aware enough to know how this is going to be taken in the blogosphere, in other forums, and that's okay. You know what? That's fine. I've got a tough skin. I realize that as a public figure, if you will, I paint and by the way, I say that very, very, very tongue-in-cheek. But I paint a target on me. I get that. I understand that. I'm certainly not trying to get flashy headlines. I'm certainly not one that says, the more clickbaitish. Certainly, I market. I understand. I've got products that I put out there. I get it. I understand how this business works. But that's not the purpose of today's podcast. It's not to get the flashy headlines. It's not to get the attention shown on me. It's simply to point out things that I see that we can maybe do better. Why do I want to do this by the end of the year? Because I think now is a great time for each of us. And this is going to be an individual, not a group effort, right? I often see people push for boycotts or group think, and they say, hey, we need to band together to do this thing. Those things work, I guess, in some cases, probably not in a lot of cases. What ends up happening is one or two jump on the bandwagon. The rest say they will and don't. There's a lot of different things that occur with that. I'm not asking you guys to group think together and let's band together to solve this problem. The purpose of this episode is simply to point out the problem, maybe to share with you my opinion. Hopefully that's why you tune in here, right? If somewhere you're saying, I don't give a shit about, probably edit that one out. I don't give a crap about your problems or your opinions, Dustin. What I care about is running my business. Great. That's the purpose of this show, is to help you as a business owner to be better. And that really is the positive focus that I want to take with this particular episode. I want to share with you what I see as an issue, a problem, if you will. And then ask you as an individual what you personally should and could do about it. Again, not to get your friends together, not to get other appraisers out there together, but just for you to step back and say, hold on a second. Is this the issue that I want to deal with? Okay, enough beating around the bush, Dustin. Let's talk about the problem. Let's start, first of all, with AMCs. Let's talk about clients. One of the things I find quite interesting about the business that we are in, the profession of appraising that we are in, valuation, okay? We're not even in appraising so much as we're in valuation, right? There's a lot of different aspects to that. We, for whatever reason, have decided to be an appraiser. we've, for whatever reason, whether we fell into it, I know some would say, well, Dustin, I don't have any choice. This is the only option for me. And I fell into it and I can't see a way out of it. Okay, I get it, but I don't really get it. You still have a choice. I guess that's the first thing I want to put on the table, is that whether you fell into this, whether you were, do we dare use the word forced into this, okay? Or whether you willingly chose it, okay? You are in it. And I want to make it very, very clear, because I think it's important, that you're not forced to be here. You do have a choice. Now, again, I'm very aware that that is easier said than done, okay? Dustin, could you really walk away today and do something different? The answer is no, not today. Could I set something up and slowly move in that direction and transition? Absolutely, and so can you. Would I suggest anybody hang up their hat, walk out their door, and go find something else to do? Probably not, unless you already have something lined up, okay? But I just want to make it very clear that we do have a choice. Every single day we have a choice that we get up, we get out of bed, we put on our clothes, we drink our coffee, we go to work, we go to our job, and it's a job that we choose, okay? It's a job that we choose. Whether or not we chose it in the beginning, whether or not we feel like we really had an option there or not, you do have an option every day. And I would highly recommend that if you hate what you do, every day, that you do one of two things. Either change your situation or get out of it. Let me repeat that. If you hate what you do, you have two choices. You can change your situation. In other words, you can make it more tolerable. Or you can set something else up that you can walk away from. You can. You do have agency. We still live in a capitalist country. You can do something different. Now, I know it's not easy. I'm going to I'm going to punctuate that over and over again. I get it. That's not something you can just make a decision and move on. But I talk to appraisers. Let me back that up. That's not true. I hear appraisers on a regular basis. Frankly, the people that talk to me, that come to me for coaching and mentoring, normally are not the ones that are ready to hang it up. Sometimes they are. But even then, even those people who are done, who are finished, and at least if they're coming to me, there's at least a door that's open, right? They're at least saying, Dustin, I can't stand it anymore. I want to do something different. Let me keep his anonymity. There we go. Secure here. But I talked to an individual who has become a friend of mine over the years, who reminded me a couple of weeks ago as we sat at dinner. He said, Dustin, just as a reminder, 3 years ago when I first came to you, when I came to your workshop, I was absolutely ready to throw in the towel and do something else. I hated what I did. I hated it. He said, I am making more money than I've ever made in my life, and I absolutely love my life. Now, he's still working too hard, by the way. And we had that talk as well. But those are the things that I love, because what he did was he took, and it wasn't me, by the way, folks, it was him. He took the bull by the horns and he said, you know what? I hate my life. I don't necessarily want to get out and do something different, but I do want to change what I do. And he did. Kudos to him. He did. And now he loves what he does. Are there still some things he needs to tweak? Yes. Are there still some things he needs to change? Yes. And that's why he's still in my mastermind group. I'll give you that much information. Okay. This guy wants to be even better than he is now. But I'll tell you, where he was 3 years ago and where he is now, night and day difference. Now, again, that's not due to me, other than me pushing him a little bit, but that's due to him making the decisions and actually following through and hiring people and setting up systems and getting involved in the technology and moving forward with his business, folks. I tell you that story simply to say it is possible to change your circumstance for the better. Now, it took him a while to get there. It didn't take him 3 years. I've known him 3 years. It took him less than 3 years. It took him about 1.5 years to really get on top of things, but it does take some time. But it is possible. If you hate your job, you do have two choices. Well, three choices. You can either change your situation, or you can get out altogether. And I have counseled some appraisers to do that. I've had people come to me, and it was obvious after 30 minutes talking to them, and I said, you know, there's probably better things that you can be doing. I remember right off the top of my head, somebody who lived in the Midwest. I talked to him on the phone. and it may have been Skype, but it doesn't matter. Getting off in the weeds here. I talked to him for about 30 minutes and I said, we'll call him John. John, buddy, I don't know if I can help you. I mean, you absolutely hate every part of this business. And I don't think you ought to live your life that way anymore. I think you ought to live your life in such a way that you can get out of bed every morning and be happy. And you know what he did? He opened up a bar. Well, I don't know if he opened a bar or went to work as a bartender, one or the other. But he contacted me several months later and thanked me for pushing him out of the business. Folks, maybe that's a choice for some of you. Maybe the other choice is to change your life for the better inside the appraisal business. And of course, number 3 is to continue to get up out of bed every morning and absolutely hate your life. That's a choice. It's an option. It's an option. Okay. So I just want to get that out of the way that there are 3 options here. You can hate your life, you can change your life, or you can change your life. And by that, I mean, you can actually change your profession and get out and do something different. Why do I bring this up? Again, the catalyst for this particular episode is watching and listening, mostly lurking. Sometimes I participate. Most of the time I just read. But I watch these things, and it's not just Mark's group. It's the other group. I think it's called National Appraiser. I apologize to whoever's listening to it and runs it and thinks I'm being unfair because I'm pointing people towards Mark's. And there's just type in Appraiser in the groups, you'll find it. Okay, it's the biggest group out there. It doesn't have the most appraisers, as we pointed out, but there is another group out there, National Real Estate Appraisers, I think, or something like that, or I am, or I don't remember. Anyway, something like that. But there's other groups out there. Just type in Appraiser. You can get on them. Now, when I read the comments that come across on these forums, I ask myself, I'll be honest with you, folks. Can I just lay it out there? Okay, I can because it's my show, right? I'm going to lay it out there. You know what I hear? Victim mentality. That's what I hear. Over and over and over again. Look how bad my life sucks. Look what happened here. I can't believe it. I'm working my ass off. I can't make anything work. Da, 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 da. Folks, I get it. I have those complaints too. But if that is your day every single day, if that's how you feel about your life every single day, well, I've said it. You have a choice. You have a choice. That's where this is coming from, is to listen to the complaints, listen to the comments every single day from appraisers who I can't otherwise judge other than to say that they hate their lives. And I struggle understanding that mentality. I struggle to understand that mentality because I guess I'm not, for the most part, the type of person that will deal with that long term. Short term, sure, crap happens. We deal with stuff, right? But I use the 81% rule. 81% of the time, I better be happy about what I'm doing, right? 19% of the time, okay, that's life. Life sucks and things get thrown at us. But if I'm not happy or at least satisfied, 81% of the time, there's a problem and I need to deal with it, right? So that's number 1. Now, I told you I was going to talk about AMCs. But that was the lead up to it, right? I do want to talk about AMCs because here's what I'm seeing, folks. I don't know of any other profession. Somebody cornered me at a conference about 3-4 years ago. And we started talking about different things. And this individual said to me, she said, Dustin, I don't know of any other industry in the world where the professionals hate their client like appraisers do. Now, I know some of you are screaming at your earbuds right now and saying, well, Dustin, of course we hate our clients. We didn't sign up for this. We signed up to be appraisers. Just let me be an appraiser. I don't want to deal with these AMCs and this crap. And the HVCC came along and destroyed my business. And then the Dodd-Frank just finished it off. And AMCs are undercutting and they're not paying us and they expect these high turn times. And we deal with these crap revision requests and these crap, engagement letters that are 30 pages long, and I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. Okay. See the previous few minutes of this podcast, right? You have a choice. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, Dustin, here's the problem. When I signed up for this, I was working directly with lenders. I was working directly with realtors. I was working directly with attorneys, but it was mostly in-house stuff, right? On the lender side even. And yeah, we had to deal with a little bit of crap with Fannie Mae, but you know what? That's something I signed up for. I did not sign up for this. I get it. I do, folks. I just, I found out, I found the title of this podcast. It's going to be the mantra that I'm going to keep bringing up over and over and over again. You have a choice. You have a choice. That's going to be the title. You have a choice. Now, I'm going to write that down. You have a choice. Now, here's the thing. I want to make sure that you understand that I'm self-aware enough to know that it's not easy. And I know I'm going to keep emphasizing that, but I don't want you to think that I'm going to jump on this stupid podcast and say, hey guys, if you don't like your life, change it. And it's going to be that easy. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, but it is possible. It's going to take some hard work, but you can change. Folks, I used to be a teacher. And I loved teaching. I taught middle school kids, junior high, right? I love teaching, but I hated the discipline. I hated having a boss. There was a lot of things I did not like about it. So much so that I changed things. I completely got out of teaching as far as that goes. And then I went back into teaching later on as a coach. The point is, it was not easy to do. Did we go through a couple of years of really struggling financially? Absolutely. Did I go through many, many doubts and fears thinking, what the hell did I just do to my life and my family? Absolutely. Every day of my life, folks. I told my wife over the weekend, I said, it's interesting. I wake up every single morning unemployed. Every single morning I wake up unemployed. If I don't make business work, if I don't make productivity happen, it doesn't happen and I don't get paid. That's a scary thing. It's also a rewarding thing. I love being self-employed. I love the fact that the fruits of my labors are the fruits of my labors. Not that I'm doing it alone, don't get me wrong. But this business is mine. There's some satisfaction in running this business, owning this business, having a truly highly successful appraisal business. There's something satisfying to me about that. Are there things I hate about it? Absolutely. But I avoid those things like the plague. I delegate those things to everybody else, right? Now, I still deal with crap. I still deal with issues. I still have to put out fires, okay? I'm not immune to that. But if I'm not happy 81% of the time, if I'm not satisfied 81% of the time, I want to change things. So with regard to AMCs, here's what I see happening over and over again on the social media. As this individual at the conference pointed out, I see no other profession. Maybe they're out there, I don't know. But I don't see other professions that hate their clients, loathe their client. In fact, I think the way she put it to me is, I don't know of any other profession where the professionals loathe the people who send them a paycheck, quite like appraisers do. Now think about that for a second. You're getting a paycheck from your clients, and yet you hate their guts. Yet they're writing the paycheck over and over and over again. Now, I'm not asking you to love them. I'm not asking you really to do anything. I just want you to step back as we near the end of the year and reevaluate what you're doing and reevaluate who you work for. Now, I've said it on this podcast before. I will say it again. I'm going to say it today. You have a choice as to who you work for. No, Dustin, I don't have a choice. Everybody's gone to these AMCs, and I know that Dodd-Frank doesn't require, but most lenders think that they do. And okay, I get it. I do, folks. I hear you. I feel the same way at times. Okay, that 19% of the time, I do feel that way sometimes. But the bottom line is you have a choice as to who you work for. I don't work for crap AMCs. I've told you before, I work for A and B clients. Okay, there's A clients, which I love. They pay me well. They pay me on time. They don't ask for a bunch of crap. They just let me do my job. Those are A clients, and I have a handful of them that I love working with. I've got probably 2 handfuls of B clients. These are clients when maybe they don't pay in 30 days. Maybe they pay in 45 or 60 days, but they still pay. Maybe they pay quickly, but they don't pay quite as much as my A clients do. They're still within that realm of, okay, I'll do the job. I wish I was getting a little bit more, but it's still worth it for me. Or maybe they pay me well. They pay me on time, but their stipulations suck, right? And I'm tired of the revisions requests coming back, and I have to say, see paragraph 3 of page 2, right? I already pointed this out. You just missed it. I hate doing that. And that's a B client that I have to continue to point things out to. Or they come back with ridiculous stipulations that I think, and that makes a difference to the valuation process. How? But yet I'll still do it. I'll suck it up and do it because I'm grateful for the work. I'm grateful for the paycheck, and it's still worth it for me. Now, that being said, I also have a whole list, and it's a lot longer than both my A and my B clients combined. I have a list of Y clients. Don't ask me for that list because they're why clients to me. And if I have discovered anything over the last few years of coaching other appraisers, an A client for me might be a C client, which is really a Y client for someone else. Or an A plus client for me might be a B minus client for someone else, right? There's a lot that goes into this. And it has to do with your business model, has to do with the area that you work, has to do with a lot of different things, right? A really good client for me can not necessarily be a good client for someone else, and vice versa. So I'm not going to give you the Y client list, avoid these clients, because there's a lot of Y clients on some of my mastermind appraisers list that I think are B plus clients, right? But the point is there is a whole group of clients that I won't work for. And when I sit on these forums online and I listen to appraisers complain and bitch and moan about their clients, I just shake my head and I say, why are you working for that person? Now, if this happens once in a while, okay, fine. I deal with that stuff too. I do. I get clients that I would even say are A clients that sometimes I go, what? You want what? Right? We all deal with that. And if it's a one-off situation, then you know what? I'll back off. But what I get frustrated with is hearing the same appraisers complain about the same things over and over and over and over again. And I get it. It's a place to vent. It's free therapy, right? Online therapy is free therapy. And maybe they just need to vent and then move on. Fine, whatever. If that's all it is, then disregard what I'm saying here. My point today is simply this. My point today is ask yourself if this is worth continuing or if you want to change things. But stop complaining about the same things over and over and over again, and do not tell me that you have no choice. Do not say, Dustin, it just is what it is. Dodd-Frank is what it is until we get rid of that. It just is until we get rid of AMCs. It just is what it is. I see people complain constantly about AMCs and say to the world, say to the online world through these forums that they're being treated like crap by their clients. And I guess my question is, why are you continuing to work for them? And don't say that you have no choice. Don't say that, hey, AMCs are here to stay, and if we're going to be appraisers, we have to be AMC focused. We do not. We do not. You can move more and more to the private sphere. And somebody's going to say, well, Dustin, there's not a lot of volume there. Really? I have several mastermind students that focus almost completely on non-lender work, and they're doing quite well for themselves. High fees, low stips. They deal with some other issues as well. I mean, there's crap in every single aspect of this job that you're going to have to deal with, right? Don't think that just going non-lender is going to keep you shaded or sheltered rather from the problems. No, you're going to get homeowners calling you up like I did several weeks ago where I did a private job, and he called me up and bawled me out and said his house was worth more than I said it was worth, even though he was doing it for a pre-listing. By the way, follow up to that, sold his house. Guess what? I was within 3%. So we deal with crap from every aspect. From every aspect of our job, we deal with crap. But here's the thing, and I guess I'll punctuate this before we go to two things. First of all, I want to punctuate. You do have a choice as to who you work for. You need to sit down as an appraiser, as a business owner, not as an appraiser, as a business owner. You need to sit down and you need to ask yourself, is this an A, B, or Y client? There is no such thing as a C client. A C client is a Y client. By the way, for those of you who have not listened to previous episodes, I'll just reveal Y client means, why the hell am I working for you? I'm going to stop working for you. I'm going to fire you today, and we're going to move on, right? So you need to decide. You need to make that list. I would actually make a physical list. I would have an A client list. I would have a B client list, and I would have a Y client list, and you're not working for Y clients. Sit down and figure out which of your clients are A, B, and Y. And those of you who are saying, Dustin, I can't afford to get rid of some of my Y clients because I won't have any business coming in, I would say to you this: the universe abhors a vacuum. You've heard that term before. I've seen it over and over again. It seems like every time I fire a client, even though I have no idea where my next job is going to come from, the next job still comes from somewhere. I'm able to suck it up to find another client to basically replace that individual that I fired. Folks, if you're getting paid crap fees, if you're being asked for turn times that are absolutely ridiculous, if you are getting stipulations and engagement letters that are ridiculous and long, Folks, that's a why client. That is the definition of a why client. You need to fire them. You need to move on. You can be happy in this. Now, the other thing I'll say before we go to the break is that just over the weekend, without getting, just because of I don't want this podcast lasting forever. Okay. I will say this. I'll tell you this much. I'm recording this the Monday after Thanksgiving. Okay. There you go. It is the 27th of November. That's when I'm recording this. Over the weekend, I had an opportunity to rub shoulders with my family for Thanksgiving. And some of them are in all of them are in other professions. Okay. And as I talked to some of them, I realized, it just was almost funny as I was talking to them, some of the crap that they have to deal with, the regulations, the stipulations, the clients that are never happy, the complaints that they get. Literally, if you changed a little bit of the terminology, you would have thought we were talking to another appraiser. And it just hit me that it does not matter what profession you are in, you are going to deal with crap. And some of you are saying, well, yeah, Dustin, but not this level of crap. Really? Really? Because I'll tell you, one of the individuals that I talked to over the weekend's in the medical profession, and I was blown away with the crap that he's got to deal with. You think our E&O insurance is high? You think we have to deal with crap as far as the insurance side of things? Go talk to a medical professional and tell me that there's not some real issues in the medical field. Well, Dustin, that's the medical field. What about? Okay, yeah, what about? Let's talk about this guy that left and became a bartender, right? He's happier, absolutely. Does he still have to deal with crap? Absolutely. Can you imagine? Saturday night at 2 a.m., right? He's got to deal with crap. We all have to deal with our crap. The question is, how much do you want to deal with? And how much are you going to proactively decide to stop dealing with? How much are you proactively going to change your life in such a way that you can better your life? That's the encouragement today. I've been kind of negative so far, but the encouragement, and stay tuned for the second half because I think it'll be a little bit more positive. The encouragement today is, as I see these complaints online from other appraisers, number one, I understand them. But number two, I want to wring your neck a little bit and say, then change it. Change your situation, because you're not forced to be here and you're not forced to be in the situation that you're in. You do have a choice. All right, folks, let's go to a break. Speaking of choices, you do have a choice when it comes to your software. I've been using A La Mode for over 20 years. They've been in business for over 30. They absolutely love appraisers, and they design their product in such a way that appraisers are served. That's what I love about A La Mode. They care about me enough to be able to do what I need done. Does that make sense? In other words, they absolutely listen to me, and they absolutely are there for me. I love that. I love the fact that they're appraisers. They understand appraisers. They've been in this business long enough to know what appraisers love, and they are designing their software in such a way. I often get asked, folks, do you suggest that I switch? I'm with so-and-so company. Unequivocally, yes, because of what Total can do for you. Right now, special offer, just for the next couple of days, save $500. Folks, that is huge. $500, not just $50, not $5, $500 when you switch to Total now through December 29th. Okay, you've got through December 29th, 2017 to switch to Total. If you switch, you will save $500. How? Go to www.alamode.com/switch. It's alamode.com/switch, or you can call A La Mode, 800 A La Mode, and they'll give you the details. Just ask them about the $500 savings if you switch now through December 29th. Speaking of great companies and speaking of companies that really care about appraisers, how about DataMaster? DataMaster allows me to save 30 to 60 minutes per report. That's every report, folks. That's not per week. That's not per day. That's per report. Every single report, I can save at least 30 minutes, and usually it's more than that. Why? Because it imports data that I would have to hand type or have someone else hand type anyway. That's what I love about DataMaster. If you've not tried them, you need to check them out. Just go to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Once again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. And you can try them for 14 days. That's right, 14 days, unlimited downloads. If you are not absolutely convinced at the end of 2 weeks that this is for you, no obligation, folks. Move on. It won't be a problem. But if they are in your area and you're not using all of them, or sorry, editor, go back. If they are in your area and you're not using DataMaster, what the hell are you waiting for? Folks, go to datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. Once again, it's datamasterfreetrial.com/coach. By the way, my wife asked me over the weekend, Thanksgiving weekend, she said, do you swear when you're at work? Because you don't swear at home. And I said, babe, I swear all the time. You just don't hear me because I do it in my head. All right, we're focused on, or we're sponsored rather by OREP. We talked a little bit about E&O insurance, folks. I'll tell you what, I saved money the first 2 times I renewed with OREP, and then the third time I actually added an appraiser. And I'll tell you, though I can't claim I saved money anymore because I added an appraiser, right? I absolutely saved money over what the competition would have given me. In fact, I know what the competition was because OREP is not just an insurance company, it's an insurance broker. What does that mean? That means you go to them and they will shop your profile to other companies and they will get you the best rate possible. They care about appraisers. They care about you. If you're not with OREP, you need to be. The benefits are enormous. Go to orep.org. That's OREP.org. That's OREP.org. And we are back. My name is Dustin Harris, hanging out in the podcast chair. No script, just off the top of my head, what's in my heart, what's in my head. Talking a little bit about negativism and talking about, I'm going to title this, You Have a Choice, right? A lot of us are frustrated. I'm one. I'm there. I'm raising my hand. Okay. I'm frustrated with the way the business has gone the last few years. Absolutely. But I've also found a way to make it work. I've also found a way to be highly successful in an AMC world. I've said it here before. I'll say it again. About 85% of my work is AMC work. Now, I've been mocked for that. I've been called a shill for the AMCs. Whatever. You want to label me, label me. I'm just telling you that I have been able to deal with the current situation in such a way that's made me highly productive, and I've been able to mentor and coach other appraisers to do the same thing. That doesn't mean if you come to me for coaching that I'm going to push you the AMC route. Absolutely not. Now some people say, well, Dustin, why don't you do more non-lender work? Honestly, because it takes time and money to do it. And that's not where I'm focused right now. I'm able to work just fine in the AMC world with a little bit, about 15% on the outside of that. But the point is I'm able to coach and help other appraisers to be very focused on non-lender work and do quite well for themselves in non-lender work. That's one of the choices that you have. If you're tired of working with AMCs, stop working with AMCs. If you're tired of working for this particular AMC, stop working for that particular AMC, but don't jump on the forums every single day and complain about all the crap that's being loaded on your head that you have to deal with, okay, and continue to do it. What do they say the definition of insanity is that you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, hoping for a different result? I mean, folks, if that's not insanity, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. Okay, last thing I want to concentrate on is professionalism. Last thing I want to talk about today is the other thing that I see happening on the forums on a pretty regular basis. By the way, it doesn't happen on my forum. And by the end of the podcast today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my forum online. It's different. You're not going to find it, okay? There's a reason for that. But these public forums, these free forums on Facebook, I enjoy them because, number one, I guess I like to watch train wrecks. I'm the rubbernecking guy that turns his head at crashes on the freeway, right? It's interesting to me. It's an experiment in social science. Let's put it that way. I like to watch the zoo animals at work, right? I like to sit back and just shake my head and go, okay, all right. The other thing is there are educational things that happen on those forums as well. Sometimes questions are asked and they're answered in such a way that I think, oh, I learned something today, right? So I enjoy that part as well. Plus, I just love being an appraiser. And that's just part of being an appraiser for me because I'm on Facebook, I'm on social media, and I might as well be connected to what's going on. So I will continue to lurk and I will continue to participate in some aspects. But one thing I find interesting is to watch it, not just how appraisers complain about their clients, but how appraisers complain about other appraisers. This goes back to the episode that I talked about earlier today, and that is the episode on how appraisers eat their own, right? We sometimes will throw each other under the bus. I don't know if it makes us feel good about ourselves. I don't know what the purpose is, right? Again, I know that there's a target on my back. I get that. It used to bother me a lot. I used to have a folder in my email that was called hate mail, and it filled up, and it used to bother me. I'll just be honest with you. In the beginning, it bothered me. It really bothered me. Some of the things people said about me, it really disturbed me. And, I thought to myself, Dustin, stop losing sleep over stuff you can't help. Who cares what other people think about you? Just focus on what you do best, and that's helping appraisers to be better business owners. And that's been my focus. And I think, tell me in the comments, I would love to hear it. I think that I'm a better podcast author, broadcaster. I don't know what you call me, right? I'm better at podcasting when I just don't care what people think and I just lay it out there. Now, I'm not going to call people names. I'm certainly not going to point out individual appraisers and talk about what they may or may not have said about me. That's not my way of doing things. It's just not. But I will talk in generalities, and I will say this, that we spend way too much time, in my opinion, my humble opinion, we spend way too much time eating our own, talking badly about our fellow appraisers, whether they be our competition or halfway across the world. We spend way too much time being worried about what other appraisers are doing, what other appraisers are saying, and really throwing them under the bus, and less time than we should working on ourselves, being our better selves, working on our own business, working on it, not in it, taking time every single week to sit down and say, where's my business? Where do I want to be? What are my goals? What are my aspirations? What are my written milestones that I'm going to accomplish in the next 3 months? Have I mentioned in here how much I love my mastermind groups, right? This is the culmination of all the good that I see in appraisers happen in these mastermind groups. When I sit down at a table in some hotel in some random city, okay, it's not a random city. We actually pick the city before we get there so we can all make it there. But you know what I'm saying? Some city, somewhere, some hotel room, some conference room, we sit around with 6 or 7 or 8 other appraisers, and we all talk about our businesses and how we can improve them. We don't sit and complain about the AMC world. We don't sit there and complain about our clients. We don't sit there and complain about other appraisers. We are there focused on how to be better at what we do. And it is awesome to see because it's not just talk. We set goals. We hold each other accountable. We're online between meetings and we are accomplishing something. Folks, I guess that's maybe the positive spin that I'd put on this episode at the end. Not to encourage you to necessarily become a part of my mastermind group. Not even necessarily to encourage you to become a member of my all-star team group. My point today is simply to point out what I see, my observation, and that is that we spend way too much time complaining about our own lives, about our clients, and about other appraisers, and really to encourage that we take stock of where we are. Here it is, the end of 2017. My question for you is, what does 2018 look like for you? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Where do you see your business moving? If you spend more than 19% of your time angry, heartbroken, complaining about your situation, then I would say you're spending way too much time in the negativism. My encouragement, folks, I love you. Thanks for listening. My encouragement is that you renew yourself in 2018. That starting January 1st, you have a new aspect, a new outlook on your life. That you take 2018 to say, you know what, screw it. I'm done complaining. I'm done with the problems. Yeah, I've still got to deal with crap, okay? You still have to be a business owner. We need to be realistic here. But if I'm going to spend the majority of my time in the muck of being negative, then I need to make a change. And I want that change to happen January 1. Folks, that's my encouragement today. January 1. Now, I promised I would tell you a little bit about my forum. My forum is part of the All-Star team, okay? It's a secret. I use that word not to be elusive, but that's what it's called. In Facebook, you can have a closed group, you can have an open public group, or you can have a secret group, right? Closed groups can be found, but you can't get into them unless you send a request and then, or else someone else adds you, right? I tried to do closed group for a while. It just didn't work because there's too much to deal with. So what I did was I went to a secret group. You will not find me online. If you type in Appraiser, you won't find it. If you type in All-Star Team, you won't find it. It is called the All-Star Team, but you won't find it, right? You'll have to join my All-Star Team. Just go to theappraisercoach.com, go to memberships. It's $9 a month. It not only gives you access to that online forum, which, by the way, number one rule, you have to be positive. Anybody gets negative in there, they will be warned once and they will be kicked off. Number two, I've only had to let somebody go and he actually wasn't a member of the All-Star Team to begin with. How he got in there, I have no idea. That's one of the reasons I went to a secret group. He got negative. I asked him to stop. He kept being negative. I had to remove him, right? I only had to do that once. It's a positive group of appraisers who you can ask any question at all. And people are not going to say, well, that's a dumb question. Where'd you go to appraisal school? Where'd you get your appraiser license? Out of a cereal box? That won't happen in this group. We will be respectful. We will honor your question. We will answer your question, and we're all in it together. That's the All-Star Team. Go to theappraisercoach.com and type in memberships and go to the All-Star Team. Would love to have you on there. And also get my newsletter, which comes out in audio and in digital format every single month. It's an 8-page color newsletter that I read to you every single month, so you can listen to it while you drive. Please join us, the All-Star Team at theappraisercoach.com. Thanks for joining me today, folks. Thanks for letting me rant and rave. I hope you got something out of it. We'll catch you next time.